It's great to have you here today at this LifeForce annual convention. I'm excited to be here. My topic that they asked me to talk about is called contacting and inviting new prospects. So that's where I'm going to be coming from, contacting and inviting new prospects. Now to get this started, I've got a little cartoon here. I like to have these cartoons and stuff like that. You can see in this cartoon back there in the back, we got a guy here sitting in a personnel office. He's out looking for work. And he's got one of these checkerboard fluorescent pink suits on. That's kind of a bold thing, isn't it? And here's the personnel director talking to the prospect here. He's saying, hey, we're looking for an aggressive, tenacious salesperson, like, for instance, the one who sold you that suit. Now, see, folks, that's what the essence of out there prospecting is. That's what network marketing is all about. We're out there trying to find tenacious, aggressive people like those that are willing to sell suits like this. Now, maybe this guy would be a good contact, too, because if he has the audacity to wear that suit, then he's got to be pretty bold. Here's another cartoon that I like a lot. I like this cartoon particularly in talking about folks that are coming to listen to our opportunity. But it can also apply to folks that are here at this training meeting learning about contacting and inviting. This is King Arthur. King Arthur is going out to war. And you know, back in those days with swords and spears and shields and, oh man, it must have been a bloody affair, right? But King Arthur, he was steeped in tradition, and he was a successful guy, and he probably won most of the battles and wars that he was involved in. And here's a couple of his aides, and he's saying, hey, King Arthur, there's a guy here to see you, and here's what King Arthur's saying. He's saying, no, I can't be bothered to see any crazy salesman. We've got a battle to fight. Folks, this crazy salesman is a machine gun salesman. Wow. Do you think if King Arthur had learned what that machine gun could do, and if he'd applied that to that battle, that it would have been a different outcome? Hey, he won the thing anyway. You know that. But wouldn't he have lost a lot fewer men? Now here's the byline on this thing. Don't be too busy to listen to a new idea. And that's what we're trying to convey to folks when we're out there visiting with folks about the business and network marketing. Also, I guess I'm sort of conveying that to you too. Maybe you're going to hear some things in this little workout session that are new paradigms for you, a new way of thinking, something that's different, or it could even be different from what the tradition of network marketing might be. You know, there's some things out there that are really steeped in tradition that maybe they're just not the best thing. Warren Buffett, you guys acquainted with Warren Buffett? He used to own ABC, one of the most notable investors of all time, and this is a cute little thing. He likes to describe his customer-oriented personal selling. Now, come on, isn't that what we're involved about? Customer-oriented personal selling. And here's a great story that he likes to relate to folks about teaching and training about customer-oriented personal selling. He says he likes to talk about a fisherman who goes into a sporting goods store and he wants to buy a lure. And the sales clerk shows the fellow an array of colored feathers and plastic insects and other ingenious enticements for the fisherman to use. And trying to select a lure that will be certain to increase his chances, the fisherman asks this question. Hey, do fish really like this sort of thing? And the sales clerk deadpans back, I don't know. I don't sell fish. Now, there's a moral to that story. The salesman doesn't sell fish. He's selling fishermen the lures. Now think about it. We're out there in network marketing. There are all sorts of lures and enticements, and we're trying to get people to come and buy into our products and into our opportunity, aren't we? And sometimes I don't know that the network marketing professional is using the right kind of enticements and lures and attractions that the prospect wants to see or hear or understand that will attract them to the business opportunity. Sometimes we go out and do things that we think might be the best thing to entice folks or lure folks, but maybe that's not what the prospect is taking a look at. Have you ever stopped to think about what the anatomy of a prospect is? Now, I'm supposed to have a handout that they have printed. Did we find that? Great. Here's the anatomy of a prospect. I want to talk about the anatomy of the prospect a little bit so you have an understanding of what we're trying to accomplish here. You know, sometimes we can talk about the anatomy of a suspect here because the suspect might not be a prospect. And so we're trying to qualify folks as, well, suspects, okay, now prospects, but okay, let's take a look at this here. We'll talk about the anatomy of this prospect here, okay? Female prospect here, okay? You'll notice that up in the top here in the head we have a brain, okay? And this would be the mind, all right? And we also want to talk about something in particular that's called the heart here. So we got the brain and the mind, and all of our prospects or suspects will have a brain and a mind, and they'll have a heart. Now let's take a look underneath the brain and the mind here, okay? The brain and the mind, this would be mental. These are mental aspects. You know, in network marketing, you've heard the phrase due diligence. Let's do due diligence. I always thought that was a fascinating thing. Due diligence? Just what is due diligence? Well, I've heard it described as checking it out, okay? We want to check it out. I like to describe that as the discovery process. Now, folks, I know you can't read this stuff that's going on the board here, okay? This is just to keep me straight here so you can see where we're going. Discovery process. The discovery process, that's a matter of doing research, investigation, okay? That's acquiring knowledge. Now, once you have the research, investigative knowledge, this is part of this due diligence process that does apply to network marketing. You've got to evaluate the information, analyze the information. Should we talk not about business analysis? And how about cash flow analysis? Should we add to this mental aspect common sense? In other words, this is thinking. Have you ever thought about your prospect in terms of that before? And are you answering these kinds of questions when you're visiting with your prospect? Because that's the suspect and the prospect. This is what's coming from the brain and from the mind. All the experts of the industry, aren't they talking about making sure that you do due diligence into a program that you get involved with? Now, once it goes there, then they might talk about such things as, okay, you got to know about the company. Number two, you got to know about the product, consumable products that gets results. You should find out about the support organization that's providing, and that's probably where most of them are going to stop. And see if this isn't true about your experience. I think there's another fourth area here called the compensation plan. But if you'll think about your past track record in network marketing, lots of times when it comes down to this due diligence, the research, the investigation, the evaluation, the analysis, it stops. In a lot of cases, it stops after they talk about product. They just want to give you the product type and attract you into their program with the product type. All right, let's jump over here. This is critically important too. Might be even more important. This might even be the heart of the matter? Come on now, if you come over here to the heart, folks, look at this. The heart, now we're talking about feelings. Lots of men would say that these are gut feelings. The ladies are much more refined, and they would be talking about intuition, right? Part of this, ladies are very intuitive, man. They really understand things. It could also be discernment here. Wait a second, Nelson, why discernment? Why isn't discernment over here under brain and mind? Because I think that discernment really comes more from the heart. This is talking about emotions, excitement, enthusiasm, passion. All these things lead down here to what we talk about as a belief, and here's the heart of the matter. Here's the brain and the mind. Here's the mental considerations. The anatomy of the prospect is made up of both of these factors. You ever thought about that before? And you need to address that. Oh, wait a second. You mean we could also talk about in terms of a distributor network marketing? Having to be able to make a presentation along these kinds of lines? Having to have this be involved in terms of attracting business partners to you? These are the elements that come into play here. Let me take this middle section out here. Look at this heart of the matter, this coming together with these kinds of considerations. That's where we come to the belief level that produces the courage. The belief level and courage, folks. If you don't have your heart into the opportunity, if you don't have your heart into the product, if you don't have your heart into the understanding of what the compensation plan is, oh yeah, true cash flow analysis to validate the fact that, yes, your people could make money in this opportunity. If you are not fully believing that, you don't have that concept of the belief in your product, are you going to have the courage to go out there and talk to other folks? And if you can't do that in that manner, are you going to attract suspects and convert them into prospects and prospects into business partners or customers? It's not going to happen. It absolutely is not going to happen because this belief level and this courage causes you to do what? Well, we just adopted a nifty little motto in our group. It might not be new to you folks. The whole thing coming together is new, I believe. It's called Take the Product, Talk to People. We've heard that a lot, but now show the plan. Oh, the belief level, the courage to go out and take the product, talk to people, and show the plan. And that is how you get these suspects or prospects to come along and become business partners with you. Now, most of what I talk about today, I want to let you know that I'm going to focus mostly on suspects or prospects that are business partners as opposed to product users. Now, I love product users too. I want to share the product. But if you want to have residual bonus overrides, you know, the ones that come in month after month after month, the leverage of network marketing, you know, the, wow, getting paid on the second and the third and the fourth and the 17th level, you need to go find some business partners because they're the ones that go get excited about attracting other business partners. Did you guys get that? How important business partners are to the business? I guess before we go on, just so you guys know, I love this product, okay? For those that are listening on the tape, I got a bottle of Body Balance in my hand right now. This is for the full body. This helps the mind and the heart, right? Wow. You've had your Body Balance today, haven't you? I knew you would. But see, when you're in a meeting with other folks that aren't all distributors, maybe they haven't had their Body Balance. I love the product. Makes me feel better, gives me energy. I do a Body Balance cocktail every morning. It's got the Body Balance, it's got Flexio Plus, and it's got the Hebo in it. And I do that every morning. You want to know why? Because it makes me feel better. It takes the pain out of my knees, and that allows me to go play racquetball 6 days a week. What? Isn't that awesome? Hey, now, do you really believe I take that product?
Yes, I do.
How do you know?
By showing us.
Gut feeling.
A gut feeling?
You got passion, energy.
Folks, is that how you're talking to people on the telephone? Is that how you're talking to folks that you bounce into? Do you have this passion? Do you demonstrate that you got the belief level? Because this is an attraction business. You think that you're going to attract somebody to you when you talk to them about changing their life. And this works even if it's a product presentation, and especially if it's a business partner presentation, opportunity presentation. If they're not attracted to you by your energy, your passion, your belief level, do you really think that it's going to happen, that you're going to get residual overrides? I don't think so. So now you can evaluate your own business practices and how you talk to other people and how you contact. And this is especially true over the telephone. I mean, I've been in my office before. My wife comes down and says, David, hold it down a little bit. Well, come on, I can't hold it down. That's just a little wire that goes out of my telephone, and I got to convert energy and send it out there all the way across the country in many cases. So what did I tell my wife? Shut the door. Does that make sense to you? All right, look at this. Here we go. I got a couple pieces of paper here. Risks and rewards. We're talking about this is a suspect prospect. We're trying to track them into something that they believe could be risky business. Here's what's going on in the mind of your prospect, okay? You must weigh, they must weigh the risks of your new venture against the venture's potential rewards. They're weighing risks. Now think about it out there. In network marketing land, folks have heard of network marketing before. Lots of folks have been in network marketing before. Have you ever run into any of those that say, we just don't want to do the business anymore? Have you run into guys like that or ladies like that? Or is that just me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so you have got to be able to overcome their aversion to the risk. Now, I find that the best way to do that is I have a mental presentation that is going to be passionate and full of energy so that they can get a good feeling and I can attract them to me. But I'm going to make sure that they can go through a discovery process of research and investigation. I'm going to present information to them, allow them to evaluate that, analyze that. I'm even going to help them do this so that we can come up with a belief level and a commitment. Does this usually happen just on one telephone call? Doesn't happen that way, does it? This is more like a process. It's not just a one telephone. You go through the process, you acknowledge, you're acknowledging knowledge and mind and what we're presenting in terms of here's the company, here's the products, here's the compensation plan, here's the support organization. You internalize that, it gets into their heart, they get the feeling for it, and they either accept the risks of that or they do not accept the risks for that. And hey, if they don't like it, they don't do the venture. Now, one of my mentors when I was growing up was a guy by the name of David O. McKay, and he says, words do not convey meanings, they call them forth. I speak out of the context of my experience, and you listen out of the context of yours, and that's why communication is difficult. See, sometimes we get on the telephone and we're telling some suspect or some prospect, hey, this is a business involving network marketing. I love network marketing. That's my context of what I'm speaking out there. Network marketing is good business. But what is that prospect or suspect thinking out there? Amway. Oh, they might be thinking Amway. And lack of communication causes skepticism. There are lots of skeptical people out there in network marketing land. Do you know why they have the right to be skeptical? Because when they take a look around and they think about the experience they were in XYZ and ABC and RQP and all these different little programs that they got involved with, and they were promised the fact that they were going to be able to make money, they were never able to make money, and particularly on a part-time basis. And there are also lots of folks out there running around that have heard about network marketing that are extremely skeptical. So now we have to understand this anatomy of the prospect so that, hey, they were taught to do due diligence, maybe not in that word, but they were taught in various facets of their life that you got to make sure that if you get involved with something that it's going to work out for you. And when it hasn't 3 or 4 times, or when they haven't heard of anybody who knows about network marketing or has made any money in network marketing, don't they have the right to be skeptical? And so, hey, that's what we're up against. And in my experience, I've been doing this business for about 18 years now on a full-time basis. In my experience out there in network marketing land, it's never been more difficult because of the skepticism that has been created by folks out there in the industry that makes it extremely difficult. All right, contacting and inviting new prospects. That's the topic at hand here. I like to, when I get on the telephone, when I meet somebody in person, when I talk to them, I like to have this be the word that I am using. I like to visit with people. I like to visit with people. I'm so amazed when folks get on the telephone, and I'm prospected from time to time, quite a bit actually, and people get on the telephone and, hey, is this David Nelson? Yes, it is. You live in Colorado? Yes, I do. And hey, have I got an opportunity to share with you? And they're right into this, tell me about their product, usually about their product. Tell me about this great company they're involved with. They haven't asked me if I even know what network marketing is. Now, you don't do it that way, do you? Well, yeah. Nobody's shaking yeses or no's there. So that's not the most appropriate way to do this business. Because in communication, you have to have the listening go on, and if you are visiting with people, that is different than a lecture to people or just a one-sided presentation to people. Visiting with people, the purpose of visiting with people is establish rapport so you can start to create the relationship. I have 4 rapport building questions here that I think are powerful that allows us to start to visit with people. The reason that I came up with these 4 rapport building questions, and hey, they're pretty straightforward and simple, is because in Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, marvelous, marvelous principles if you're involved in the business of network marketing, every one of them. You know, think win-win, be proactive, sharpen the saw. The one that absolutely changed my communication process in network marketing was seek first to understand before being understood. Seek first to understand before being understood. When you start to understand your suspect, prospect, that person you're trying to develop a relationship with, first, they're much more likely to listen to you when you start to visit with them. And you can establish that rapport you need to have. Well, you know, when you call up and you're visiting with people, or this is a bounce into somebody at the store and you set up an appointment, or this is one of your warm market contacts, I find that these are very attractive questions to ask in order to visit, so that I'm not just the one that's doing all the talking, and I'm also trying to find out and listen to them. This first question is, have you been in network marketing before? Have you ever been in network marketing? Isn't that a great question? Because if they have not been in network marketing, you need to adjust your presentation to make sure that they understand what you're talking about. You might be starting talking about downlines and bonus overrides and things like that, upline, and they don't have a clue what that means. Have you been in network marketing? Next question that comes from that, particularly if they say yes, if they say no, this next question doesn't make any sense. What companies have you been involved with? What companies have you been involved with? Have you been in network marketing? Yes. What companies have you been involved with? Folks, listen to this. Just by understanding what companies these people have been involved with communicates to you a lot about your prospect. If your prospect says, well, yeah, I was in the Big Daddy, you know, I was in Amway, and I was in Herbalife, and I did Miranda to Ishinoni, and oh yeah, I tried that free life deal, that's a whole different prospect than somebody that says, well, I did ACN and ITI, and I did prepaid legal, and I did some binary thing, a Destiny Telecom type. See, do you see the difference already? Those first 4 companies were all nutritional product companies. These next ones were all service type, mostly telecommunication companies. This next prospect might have a challenge with pills and potions and lotions. Now, I don't have a problem with pills and potions and lotions. I love the nutrition, okay, because it makes us feel better. It's preventative. It corrects us in a lot of ways. It's vital for our health and vitality, but now that's a red flag for me about this suspect here about, well, maybe this person's got a problem with nutrition. If you go through and you ask questions and you hear, well, yeah, I was in Manatech and I was in USANA. Those are the only 2 I've done. Well, what I know about Manatech and USANA is those are both binary programs. And so you get the tip off that, well, gee, maybe this person only wants to do binaries. And so you can learn a lot by understanding what program they were in. Now, here's an important question. What was your experience? What was your experience? Now, you know what I anticipate most of the time that they're going to tell me? Oh, it was bad. That's what I anticipate most of the time. You know, one of the sad things of network marketing land out there outside of Life Force is that part-time distributors don't make money. Anybody want to disagree with that? I've been saying that for some 18 years, folks, in presentations. I've never challenged on the fact that part-time distributors don't make any money. So when I ask, well, what was your experience? But see, do you see the process that's going on here? If I ask somebody, well, been in network marketing, yes, what companies, Amway, Herbalife, I'd say, oh, now I'm visiting. Well, I was in that Amway. I got started at Amway some 18 years ago, and, you know, interesting, great products and stuff, but, you know, I just didn't like the culture. And when I say that, you know what they'll start to do to me? They'll start to tell me what they didn't like about the culture. What was your experience? Most people say, well, it wasn't good. Oh, well, now I might ask this question because I'm qualifying, okay? Why did you get involved? What was the reason that you got involved? Now, what's the reason why most people get involved in network marketing as a distributor? What's the usual reason? Money. What? Money. Oh, you're right. They want to make money. Then how come all these other programs and distributors out there from other organizations, other companies, are always talking about the product? Isn't that interesting? Because most people want to make money. Most people don't make money. Do you know why? Lousy compensation plan design. Oh, of course, we'll hear lots of stories from the so-called heavy hitters out there that will say, oh, yeah, they're lazy, they don't get it, they don't work hard enough, they don't talk to enough people, they don't go to trainings. I've also heard people, when they tell me what their experience was, well, it was great personal development experience for me. I mean, that's not why you're here, though, is it? You're not here for personal development, are you? Are you here for personal development?
Yes and no. I always learn.
Oh, yes and no. Yes and no. But what's the priority as to why you're involved in network marketing?
Network marketing to make money.
Oh, isn't that fascinating? Isn't that fascinating? Now, folks, go back to your anatomy of the prospect and the suspect. Most folks that get involved in the business of network marketing, and if you're calling up names of folks that are supposed to be interested in making money in a home-based business, what's going through that suspect's prospect's mind, and what is their heart trying to figure out? Can I make money in this program? Well, yeah, that might be true, and that's our fault too in the industry. Because the industry has hyped this, oh, remember the fisherman and the lure? You see, so many folks out there are making the lure so attractive. They want to make it so attractive about why you could just sponsor 2 people and make $10,000 a month like in 3 or 4 months' time.
I'll join.
Why, you can get on this internet and just join this program and we're going to build it for you. Folks, it doesn't work that way. And so when you start to get what was your experience, and through this process, you're starting to learn about this contact as to whether you want to work with them or not. Isn't that interesting? Well, gee, David, wouldn't you just want to work with anybody who decided to sign up? No, I wouldn't. So now, if they say, what was your experience? What if somebody had been involved in Bill Gould's program, you know, Equinox? Oh, yeah, I got involved in this Equinox program. And you know what? Man, $5,000 of the product was delivered to my garage. I hate front-end loading. I hate stockpiling. When I was in Amway, I hated that rotten curiosity approach. Folks, you see all these things that you're starting to learn about, and I love to write this stuff down on my prospecting sheet so that I know now, okay, we don't front load. We don't use the curiosity approach. We don't have stockpiling to qualify for overrides in our program. So practically anything that somebody brings up about network marketing that's a negative, it's okay with me because we don't do the business that way. Wow, but this is visiting here. Okay, here's the all-important question. How do you feel about network marketing now? How do you feel about network marketing now? That's the important thing. Well, I love the theory, and I love the reality. I love the concept. I would love to make bonus overrides in a multi-level organization. And so, well, yeah, the theory is great, but the reality stinks. I just told you about what my experience was. The reality stinks. Well, okay, here's the question, okay. If I could show you a program that was different than what you've experienced, if I could show you a program in which part-time people could really make money, are you still open to the opportunity? Well, yeah, but boy, you'd have to be able to show me for sure. I mean, I'd have to know beforehand for sure. See, and when they phrase it that way to you, now you must be able to jump into that brain-mind side, because they're going to use some common sense here about evaluating whether they can really make a cash flow or not in network marketing, because that's what they want. They want the money. And if you start to talk about your product hype, you'll probably lose that contact. That's why you need to understand what the mentality is, what the anatomy of your prospect is, where you're coming from in terms of that. Now, let's go back here. Have you ever been involved in network marketing? No. Well, then you cannot ask this question, and you can't ask this question, can you? So what you do then, just because you don't want to lose them, is, well, have you ever been involved in network marketing? Have you heard of network marketing? Do you know what it's about? Now, in describing what network marketing is, folks, I would suggest to you that you be careful on saying, well, it's like Amway. That doesn't make sense to me. Because lots of folks have a connotation of what Amway is all about. You know, going along the doors selling soap. But that's not the way it is today, but that's what the connotation is. So I don't like to liken it to Amway where I make that suggestion. If somebody says to me, well, isn't that sort of like Amway? Well, yeah, Amway's a network marketing company, but we're not any way at all like Amway other than that. Now, okay, you've heard of network marketing, and maybe they say, I don't even know what it is. You've got to be prepared to tell them what network marketing is, okay? A good little description. If they've never been involved, but they've heard of network marketing, then I'm going to come along because, remember, I'm trying to visit with them. I'm trying to find out what they feel about the subject, the topic, the industry. What have you heard about network marketing? Have you heard anything good? Oh, yeah, I have. Work from home, make lots of money. It's a great way. Oh, time freedom, all that stuff. Lots of folks have heard those things. Now, I don't stop there, though. I come along and I say, have you heard anything bad? What have you heard that's bad? Why? Why can I bring up the bad stuff? Because if they talk about front-end loading, curiosity approach, stockpiling, abusive multiple meetings every week, all that stuff, we don't do the business that way. And so now you come down here, well, how do you feel about network marketing? If I could show you an opportunity in which you could make money, are you open to that opportunity? Folks, these are rapport building questions. The more you practice at these, you'll find out that you can have a great visit with people. I got a great little handout here. This is called niche market. Niche market. You guys all know what a niche market is? Sometimes when you talk about the word niche, here's a circle and you might think, oh, gee, that'd be a niche of like about, what's that? It's a little bit less than 25%. This would be a niche of 25%. This would be a niche of 50%. Niche market. Does LifeForce have a specific niche market that we're involved in? Yes! We do! A niche, I've got it defined as an area of the market specializing in a particular type of product or service. Synonyms of the word niche are place, role, forte, position, slot, function. What is our unique selling proposition? You've heard that if you've been trained in network marketing. What's our niche market? Hello?
Well-being.
Oh, you guys are talking from a product standpoint. Oh, you guys are in the business of nutrition, aren't you? You know what business I'm in? I'm in the business of teaching people how to make money. Oh, I got nutritional products, and I do a lot of good for other folks by sharing the product, but I'm in the business of teaching people how to make money. That's the network marketing industry. And if you take a look at the niche market that LifeForce has, you know, it's not just a narrow market here. In fact, the LifeForce niche is this out here. Isn't that fascinating? 90 to 95% of the people that do network marketing are part-time. Or sometime. Those that never make any money are no time. 90 to 95% of the people that do network marketing are part-time. You guys know that, don't you? If you say that, nobody's ever going to argue with that about that. But I do get criticism for this. I tell folks, I don't know if I should share this with you. 90, 95% of the people that do network marketing are part-time. And most of them stay part-time. Oh, no, Nelson, that's not true. These people come along because they want to walk the beach of the world. They want their dreams. They want the second home. They want to travel. No, they want those big dollars. Do you want me to prove it to you that most people in network marketing stay part-time? You want me to prove it to you?
Yes.
90 to 95% of them are part-time. And it hasn't changed. So don't most of them stay part-time? So if you were in this industry of teaching people how to make money, wouldn't you want your niche to be part-time folks? LifeForce internationally is the only viable network marketing opportunity that allows, enables part-time folks to make money in network marketing. So the niche market is not just a narrow little niche here, as a lot of folks like to think about niche markets. The niche is huge. It's the masses. It's the majority. But you've got to understand that we have a whole industry out there of competing programs out there that don't have a compensation plan that addresses that niche. Consequently, they don't want to talk about cash flow analysis. They don't want to have good understanding of compensation plans. They don't do a total due diligence and a discovery process of research, investigation, and analysis and evaluation. They certainly don't want to have you come and evaluate their compensation plan. Wow, that's a powerful concept. For me to know that my niche is the majority. Here's an interesting saying. Maybe you've heard this. I love this. This is lions or gazelles. Every morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up. It knows it must run faster than the fastest lion or it will be killed. Every morning a lion wakes up. It knows that it must outrun the slowest gazelle or it will starve to death. It doesn't matter whether you are a lion or a gazelle. When the sun comes up, you better be running. Now, I always like to tell folks, you best know what path you're running on. That's why I like my path with LifeForce, because I know it's the path that addresses the majority. I know when I go out and share my LifeForce opportunity with other people, I am a responsible networker because I'm offering the masses truly an opportunity in which they can make money. And that's important to me. Oh, here's another little thing that you can use. You've heard it when somebody says, well, what about your product? Because I don't want to represent a product that I can't feel good about. You heard that before? You guys have heard that before? What about your product? Because I don't want to represent a product well, folks, have you ever thought about applying that same standard to the compensation plan you represent? Because lots of folks don't. I ask people all the time, can you explain your compensation plan to me? No. Well, wait a second. You just told me you don't want to go represent a product that you can't be proud of, and now you can't even explain what your compensation plan is? How does that work? You got a double standard. See, folks, you got to understand the anatomy of that prospect out there if you're going to attract them to your business. Because they want to know that they can make money. Oh, John Wesley said this. If you catch on fire with enthusiasm, people will come from miles to watch you burn. Now, just don't laugh at it. It's a cute saying, okay? But think about it. Why did Nelson read that? Why did he read that statement? Because I want you to evaluate how you talk on the telephone. I want you to evaluate how you get excited when you talk about the Body Balance product or when you talk about the opportunity with people. You need to evaluate that. I've been in sessions before, like this isn't Justin, but I could be in a session. I say, hey, Justin, are you excited about network marketing? And here's Justin's response. Oh, yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think it's probably the best opportunity I've ever seen in my life. Come on, Justin, you got to let your face know about it. You got to let your voice know about it. You are really not going to attract people to you in this business if you are not passionate, excited, enthusiastic. It's totally different than... See, I told you that wasn't Justin, didn't I? All right, folks, let me talk to you a little bit about who do we talk to? Who do we contact, okay? Here, we got a concept here, and I just want to introduce this to you because, wow, time goes fast when you're having fun. Here's a circle of influence, okay? Now, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, the terminology circle of influence and warm market was thought of as being synonymous in this business, okay? I changed that connotation, and so I teach now that warm market is a small part of a circle of influence here. The reason I did that is because out there in network marketing, and there's so-called idiots, there's so-called experts, that they'll get up and say, you never want to talk to your warm circle of influence. There's been experts out there that have said that. And in the very same month that I've heard them say that, I've heard others say, Oh, yeah, you only want to talk to your warm market. Those things are diametrically opposed to each other. Now, do you know why so many of these people say you never want to go talk to you don't have to go talk to your circle of influence? You know why they tell that to folks? Because they've been beat up in network marketing and they don't think they go back and talk to their family, friends, and relatives, people in the church, in the neighborhood, the soccer teams, and all that other good stuff. But they can. See if this makes sense to you. I now have to empower my new business partner to go visit with people. They will have their major success in making money in network marketing by going to their circle of influence. Any full-time heavy hitter that starts a program always goes to circle of influence. And even though they're sitting there lying to you and saying, oh, you don't have to go to your circle of influence, they do. But see, the so-called experts in the industry aren't always teaching you what they do. So warm market is family, friends, relatives, people in your church, people in the neighborhood, people at the soccer team, all those people that you have a warm relationship with that you bounce into frequently. Circle of influence goes beyond that. That's just a part of it. This could be relatives that you don't see often. It could be people that you met 5 years ago, and your circle of influence is constantly increasing. It could be people who recognize your name. You recognize their name, but you haven't been warm with them, folks. Now, I tell my people, if you've got folks in your warm market that you know hate network marketing, don't go see them again. You're not prejudging them, are you? You're not. You know they hate it. So I'm not sending you back to those people. This has to be common sense. But that's not everybody. So many people just disqualify everybody out there. Even if you go out and start with these extended circle of influence contacts out there, okay, you get started here. The other market that you can go to and talk to is called the new market. It's the cold market. It's the potential market. Yeah, and any successful network marketer eventually at one point in time or another must go into the new market, cold market, but it's cold, people. I always warn folks that come into the business, hey, this is your decision. I can't force you to go do what you want to do. But if you're going to go straight to here, are you prepared to go 4 or 5 months and maybe not sponsor anybody? I give them that warning. Because here's something else is also true. You very, very, very seldom in a legitimate network marketing program sponsor anybody that's not in your circle of influence. Now, wait a second, David. What does that mean? Well, here's what that means. I make a contact out here in the cold market, okay, and this is a relationship business, and this is a process, and in the process, this fellow has got to come over, and if he's going to be a decent distributor, a good business partner, prior to him becoming sponsored, we've created a relationship, and by George, he is in my circle of influence. But folks, this has enabled me to help a lot of folks who otherwise were burned out on network marketing, just understand that concept between warm market and circle of influence and how it relates to this cold market. Oh yeah, locally, you could do cold market prospecting, right? Let me throw this out to you guys. 3-foot rules prospecting. Is that cold market or warm market? What is it? 3-foot rule prospecting. Is that cold market or circle of influence warm market? It's cold market. Well, the 3-foot rule works like this, and this is in the extreme. Anybody that comes within 3 foot of you, you're supposed to talk to them about network marketing or your product, right? Well, you didn't know those people. They were not in your circle of influence prior. So that's a cold market thing. But I add to that, hey, I'm not teaching you guys just to go talk to everybody that comes within 3 foot of you. I think you have to visit, establish eye contact, hello, and if there's a reasonable way to get into a conversation about your product and your opportunity, great, that's responsible network marketing using the 3-foot rule. I never have believed that we should be obnoxious about approaching people and knocking them down and you will come to my opportunity meeting. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. All right, folks, I got to jump over here. I got a handout for you. There's some other items that are exciting for you to take a look at. I'll just ask you one more question, just for fun. Which is more important, prospecting or follow-up? Follow-up. All those that say follow-up, raise your hands. All those that say prospecting, raise your hands. The guys that are raising their hands right now are right.
They're equally as important.
Now, wait a second. I'm the one at the top of the room here. Have you ever thought that if you never prospect, there is no follow-up to do?
Yes.
Oh, then prospecting is obviously more important, isn't it?
If you don't follow up, then
I didn't say follow-up was not important. I just said which is more important. See, you got to get into your mind that you're going to be in a continual prospecting mentality in this business of network marketing. I got a poem to read for you. This is called To Risk. To laugh is to risk appearing a fool. To weep is to risk appearing sentimental. Oh, is that why guys just don't like to be weepy? Shame on them. To reach out for another is to risk involvement. That's what our business is, folks. We're reaching out to other people, and we are risking involvement, ours with them and them with us. To expose your feelings is to risk rejection. I risk rejection all the time when I get up and start talking about network marketing and ideas and about the correct principles that really make this business operate. And most of those heavy-hitter distributors out there reject my thinking. But my thinking applies to the niche market of 90-95% part-time people. To place your dreams before the crowd is to risk ridicule. To love is to risk being loved in return. To go forward in the face of overwhelming odds is to risk failure. But risks must be taken because the greatest risk in life is to risk nothing. Those who risk nothing, do nothing, have nothing, are nothing. They may avoid suffering and sorrow, but they cannot learn and feel and change and grow or leave because chained by their certitudes and attitudes, they are slaves. Only they have forfeited their freedom. Only the person who takes risks is free. This network marketing business is a freedom business. That's what it's about. My white-hot, intense, burning desire that's in my chest that causes me to do this business is that time freedom, that flexibility freedom that allows me to do what I want to do when I want to do it. That's what keeps me in this great business. I got to do one other paragraph here that I wished I'd written, but I didn't. Guy Kawasaki wrote this. This comes from his book, Selling the Dream. I believe this sums up what our effort with Life Force is. To the luckiest people, a time comes when they join or launch a cause that forever changes their lives and the lives of others. Losing yourself in a cause is delicious. It's intoxicating. The best word to describe the sensation is crusade. The first thing you need to believe about a crusade is never underestimate its power. It can transform ordinary people, products, and companies into devastating flamethrowers. You have to have a passionate desire to make a difference and fearlessly believe in your cause. I fearlessly believe in the cause that we take, that Life Force empowers us to take, of going out and enabling part-time people to be successful in network marketing at making money. That's the essence of what the business is. The serendipity is the fact that I change people's health and vitality with great products. But the cause is to make people be positive about network marketing. And we can do that better with Life Force than anybody else can. Thanks for listening today.